Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We are back again today with West Bromwich Albion versus Reading, a match preview for you ahead of Monday's game. Of course, moved from the 1st of January to the 2nd of January not too long ago. But yeah, a 3 o'clock kickoff at the Hawthorns on Monday the 2nd of January. It's Reading versus West Bromwich Albion. We're going to be running through all of the both sides predicted lines. We're going to getting some opposition insight from Adam Jones from the Tilehurst End Reading website. He's going to be talking us through what we can expect from Reading. As for Albion, we'll be, of course, giving my general thoughts on them, giving a few pointers from Preston. But if you haven't seen the matchday vlog yet, I suggest you go and watch that, because there's a bit of an instant match reaction on the channel for you guys to go and watch. So if you want to go and see that, that's at the end of the matchday vlog. So I come back from the game and kind of put on the camera and talk for a couple of minutes about what I saw from the game, along with those sort of matchday clips that we collect during the matchday vlog. So make sure you check that out. Of course, today this video is going out is the day that Guachin Lai should repay his £4.95 million loan to the club. If you want to hear more about the loans and finances at Albion at the moment, make sure to go and check out a bit of a finance special with football finance expert Kieran Maguire. But I feel like I've rambled on long enough with this introduction. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this. But let's crack on. It's West Bromwich Albion versus Reading, a match preview.
You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, matchday vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel.
Let's start with the opposition. Reading visit us on Monday afternoon, 10th in the EFL Championship as it stands with 36 points on the board. They're 6th in the form table. After a pretty decent last 5 games, they were coming out of a very poor run in October, which included our last meeting with the Royals. But their last 5 games, 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. So looking pretty decent over recent weeks. But last time we played them, it was a 2-0 victory at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. Goals from Matt Phillips and Taylor Gardner-Hickman secured a 2-0 victory in Richard Beale's only win in interim charge of the club. It was the Gardner-Hickman show, if we're honest. Taylor Gardner-Hickman was absolutely brilliant, playing in a midfield partnership with Jake Livermore. He was absolutely incredible. Thought that he was the outstanding performer in that game and deserved a lot of plaudits for the way that he played. So yeah, I obviously, if you watch the matchday vlog from that game, I was there. I was just behind the goal and right in front of where Gardner-Hickman came over to just after they scored that second goal. I think it was about 80 minutes on the clock or whatever it was. Matt Phillips scored very early on at that game. I seem to remember, but it was a very complete and very good performance. But obviously that wasn't the tale of Richard Beale's sort of interim reign in charge. Things sort of went awry fairly quickly after that, and obviously leading to Carlos Corberan's appointment. But yeah, that was our last game against Reading. I thought Reading actually looked okay. They were relatively high in the league when we last played them. I think they were like 4th when we went up against them away from home. But they're managed by Paul Ince, who sparked a lot of debate when he was kept on as Reading manager after sort of being given a shorter contract last season. But he seems to be doing very well, actually. I think lots of Reading fans are really impressed with the way that he's managed the team so far this season. Lot maybe were a little bit wrong about what he could bring to the table. So yeah, I think they're very pleased with the way that he started this season, and of course they're looking very good, very promising. 10th, they're kind of in that mix of the playoff sort of zone, which sparks actually only 3 points separating 5th place from 15th place. So yeah, they're kind of in that mix. So definitely in the running for that sort of playoff place. But I can imagine as we head into the new year, we might be able to see a little bit of separation in that kind of group, because at the moment it's so clogged up together. Anybody could really get into the playoffs with just a point or a win. So yeah, let's talk predicted 11 for Reading. Of course, managed by Paul Ince, as I mentioned. They tend to go for this kind of 3-4-3, 3-5-2 variation, with Joe Lumley in goal, a back 3 of Andy Yerdom, Tom Holmes, Tom McIntyre as well, a left centre-back. The 5 sort of in midfield, Junior Hoylett, Jeff Hendrick, Tom Ince, Mamadou Laum, Nestor Guinness Walker, and then up front, front 2, former Albion man Andy Carroll and former Albion target, I should say, Lucas Shaw. And on the bench, of course, they might have a certain Shane Long, a former Albion, call him call him a cult hero, maybe we could call him that. He was very good for Albion, of course, back in the day, back in the Premier League era, but he should be on the bench for Reading as we head into the game at the Hawthorns. Let's talk through some sort of opposition insight now. Let's hear some opposition insight rather from Adam Jones of the Tilehurst and the Reading website. Make sure to go and check out their content in the description below. But yeah, take it away, Adam. He's going to give some Reading thoughts ahead of the game on Monday.
Reading's season so far has been a little bit of a strange one, really. There have been quite a few games, really, where we haven't really kind of played to our potential, and we've been kind of the second best team, really, on the day, but we've still managed to pick up points, and that's been a real theme of our season, really. We seem to be a side that knows how to grind out wins and how to kind of get draws when it looks as though we're going to lose, and that's kind of a really promising sign for us, really. So yeah, speaking before the Norwich game, I think we've done reasonably well this season, to be honest with you, and much better than I expected us to do, both in terms of points and our league position. We're currently sitting in 8th as I record this, and I'm delighted with that, to be honest with you. But we know, that we could still easily be in a relegation scrap this season. So, we're just taking things one game at a time, and I think that's probably the best approach to take at the moment. In terms of West Bromwich Albion, I mean, you're a club that is absolutely full of potential. Some of the football under Steve Bruce earlier this season wasn't too bad, but I think it was clear back even when you appointed him at the kind of in the early stages of February that it was going to be an appointment really that didn't work out for the best. And I think that's one reason why Ron Gourlay, I think personally, should still be under the microscope really, and should receive criticism really for his role in appointing him. But I do think Carlos Corberan is a very kind of decent appointment. I think on the pitch, things are really looking up, really. I mean, you've got a great squad, plenty of depth there, and if you can keep most of your players fit, then I think you'll definitely have a real chance, really, and have a real shout of being in the top 6. As I said, I think that the appointment of Corberan is good, so I've got to credit Ron Gourlay there. I think there are only a couple of additions really that are needed in January. I think perhaps a little bit more depth up top. Obviously, Daryl DK has suffered with injuries during his time at West Bromwich Albion so far. Hopefully he can stay fit now, but I still think perhaps one more striker would kind of benefit you. I think Brandon Thomas Asante has done well really to adapt to the Championship following his time, I think at Salford City, I think it was in League 2. I think he's made a decent start to life at the Hawthorns. So yeah, I think, as I said, the club has great potential, but off the pitch, I think your owner needs to communicate more with the fans, and kind of be more involved really. I think that's what a lot of your fans are saying as well. This loan from MSD Holdings is a little bit of a concern for me. I think it's 20 million or something along those lines, which is, as I say, a little bit concerning considering you also have parachute payments. So that's one thing to keep an eye on. But you've got a side there, and you've got some decent young players as well, including Reyes Cleary and Taylor Gardner-Hickman. So the ingredients are there for a promotion push and for you to be successful. But I think your owner may be the main barrier to that success at the moment. In terms of one to watch for you, I think Jeb Wallace. I think it was the Preston pundit said in your last show that Wallace is one to look out for, and I think it's the same for me, to be honest with you. He's a great free transfer from Millwall in the summer. He's not just deadly out wide, although his crossing is absolutely superb, and we saw that against Sunderland. I think obviously him being deadly in the middle as well is going to be a concern for Reading. I think he's been a real asset, not just through Corberan's kind of era, but also Bruce's kind of start of the season as well. I think he's been very decent, and I think he could give Baba Rahman a hard time. So yeah, that's one player that I'd be a little bit concerned about. In terms of Tom Ince, I think he's been a great replacement for John Swift, and I think he's one Reading player to watch out for in terms of from a West Bromwich Albion perspective. I think he's been, his work rate is phenomenal. He's energetic. He's ruthless, really, in the final third. And we just need him to retain his consistency. And if he can, then I think he'll guide us to safety. But fingers crossed, really, in terms of avoiding relegation. I'm hoping that we do. In terms of a score prediction, though, I can only say it's going to be a West Brom win. I think it'll be a 2-0 win now that you're under Corberan. I think you've got a very strong squad. And I think in the end that will be the difference between the two sides. I think in both fixtures last season against us, you didn't perform to your potential at all. But under Corberan, I'm much more kind of optimistic for you. And I'm hoping that you get a top 6 spot. I mean, for us, I think it's mainly just about avoiding relegation. But good luck to West Bromwich Albion. I think the fans, especially with the current ownership issues, they deserve a lot. So good luck to you.
Thank you to Adam for sending in his thoughts. Of course, you can check out the Tilehurst End and Adam's personal Twitter page in the description of this video. But let's move on to West Bromwich Albion, 11th in the EFL Championship, just the 1 point behind Reading, and the 1 point and 1 place behind Reading with 35 points on the board. 3 points, as I said, separate that 5th place from 15th place. So such a tight gap between a lot of the teams in the Championship. But you can imagine, as I said, the new year starts. We might see some of those teams start to pull away. Some teams start to drift towards the sort of lower end of the table. But Albion, at the moment, are 1 point away from those playoff places. Could have got into the playoff places had Middlesbrough not won against Blackburn last weekend, last sort of Thursday night, I think it was. A better goal difference than most in that pack, though, Albion, with a goal difference of +7. So that could potentially come in to help when it comes to possibly the end of the season, possibly now even getting into the playoff places. But the most important thing is that they keep winning for the time being. Of course, get rid of that horrible start to the season out of their head. But last 5 games, 4 wins, 0 draws and 1 loss. 3rd in the form table. Of course, Sheffield United and Burnley seem to be kind of pulling away in the top 2. Having won both of their last 5 games. So, yeah, they seem to be kind of pulling away, but there's still room in that playoffs for others, and possibly room in the top 2, you know, maybe somebody who can catch them. But I don't think the title race is as clear-cut maybe with Burnley as people think. I think there's 2 teams there that are very, very good quality, as we saw, especially with Sheffield United when they came to the Hawthorns in Corberan's first game in charge. But last time against Preston North End, a really, really dominant performance. As I said, my full thoughts will be in the matchday vlog just at the end of that video. So if you want to go and check that out, make sure you do so, because, you know, that's my full thoughts on the game. But I'll give you a little dose of that now. I thought it was a really dominant performance. I mean, if it wasn't for Freddie Woodman in the Preston goal, it could have been 3 or 4-0. To Albion. I thought that inverting those wing backs was really cool from Carlos Corberan. Separating those that midfield into the wide areas was really good as well. I thought Brandon Thomas Asante was pretty decent up front, and I thought DK actually looked really sharp when he came on. But a really good showing from the midfield in particular. Okay, Yakushlu and Jason Mullenby looking a really, really astute and well-balanced partnership in the middle of the park. So I'm very pleased to see them two getting on well. Yakushlu, of course, the hero of the night with 2 goals. Not sure he'll ever do that again, but I mean, I'll happily eat my words if that does. But yeah, the first goal, brilliant to see him intercepting the play, bringing the ball forwards, sliding the ball into the bottom corner from 30 yards out, whatever it was. And then the second goal, really nice to break up the play, winning the ball back, passing it to John Swift, John Swift passing it back to him. And yeah, a fantastic goal. For the second goal, really nice counter-attacking goal, really nice picking the ball off the defender's feet as well, pressing high up the pitch, squeezing, getting those pressing traps in the right places. That was really good to see as well. But let's talk predicted lineup for Albion versus Reading. I'm going to go in goal, Alex Palmer. Back four unchanged of Darnell Furlong, Dara O'Shea, Eric Peters and Connor Townsend. Thought that back four actually played very well against Preston. A few little ropey moments in terms of playing the ball out from the back, but I'm sure that's something that Carlos will have worked on. 2 in midfield, of course, of Okay Kujlu and Jason Mullenby. I'd keep Rogic in the side ahead of them. I thought Rogic looked really nice when he was on the ball. I thought that there were a couple of moments where he showed a lot of quality, but as I said, kind of drifts in and out of these games as you kind of expect from a bit of a creative player. But I think that he's definitely got the quality to stay in the side. 2 wingers of Jed Wallace and Grady Dean gone. I'm not sure about the whereabouts of Matt Phillips, but we'll find that out because he wasn't in the squad against Preston, but of course could be in the squad for this one. If so, maybe he'll come into the starting 11. And I'm going to go with Daryl DK up front. I thought maybe give Thomas Asante a little bit of a rest. Thomas Asante looks very good when coming off the bench, so I'm gonna stick DK up there for a start against Reading. See how he gets on. I think that back 3 in particular for Reading doesn't look particularly physically strong. Maybe definitely in terms of defensive sort of acumen, maybe they look very good, but in terms of physically strong, maybe that's something that DK can work against. But as for a score prediction, I'm going to go 2-0 Albion. Very strong against Preston, and I can see a similar outcome and a similar performance against Reading. Hopefully another win on the bounce for Carlos Corberan's Albion. But that brings me to the end of this match preview video. Thank you to Adam Jones from the Tilehurst End for getting in touch and sending in his thoughts. Make sure you comment your thoughts, score predictions, predicted lineups down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next match preview video here on the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. See you later. Goodbye. Happy New Year.